My sister Mary and I, along with our husbands, Heath and Doug, class of '60 at McQuaid, want to thank the McQuaid community for inviting us to be present at this induction of our brother, Thomas Urban Way, into the Knights of the Round Table. We wish to especially thank Robert Herman, class of '64, for nominating Tom for this honor. We know that Tom would be pleased. To quote Sean Mullen, the award recognizes alumni, parents, and friends who have made significant contributions in their life, which either directly or indirectly bring pride to the school. Tom was very proud to be a McQuaid Knight. He loved his time here. He was a happy kid who made friends easily among students and faculty alike. While at McQuaid, Tom was Bishop Kearney's personal altar boy. He often walked from our home off Monroe Avenue to the bishop's home on East Avenue to serve Mass before going off to school. He was a natural athlete and was on the athletic council freshman and sophomore years. And he played baseball, basketball, and soccer on junior varsity teams in his sophomore year. He tried out for and made the varsity basketball team his junior year, but had to decline due to his afternoon paper route. There were 3 of us in Catholic high schools at the same time, and we all worked part-time to help pay the tuition bills. Tom never complained. He just decided he could play intramurals and CYO ball and still do his paper route. Tom lived only 5 years after graduating from McQuaid in 1962. After McQuaid, he went to Fisher, where he had a very successful career in soccer and graduated with a degree in sociology. Following graduation from Fisher, he was hired by the Eastman Kodak Company and completed a sales training program before being drafted into the United States Army. At Fort Gordon, Georgia, in June of 1967, he became a small arms specialist. On September 7, 1967, he landed in Vietnam. 6 days after arriving in Vietnam, in a letter written to the family, Tom described his new surroundings. "The people are tiny," he wrote. "They are very poor. They do wonders with nothing and don't waste a thing. The heat is intense," he reported. 100 degrees at noon, and this is winter time. And as a constant reminder of the presence of danger, he wrote about the incessant gunfire in the distance and plans for the following day that included a 20-hour patrol through the jungle to set up an ambush of the enemy. He shared that there were rumors of redeployment to the most active sector of the infamous Mekong Delta. "Keep me in mind," he urged his family. On October 5th, in his final letter home, Tom confirmed his suspicion that his battalion was indeed headed to the Delta for what was anticipated to be a long siege with intense fighting. "It's pretty hot down there," he said, "so wish me luck." He ended the letter, "See you later. You are all in my heart." According to official records, 4 days later, on October 9, 1967, Tom was killed by small arms fire during action against the Viet Cong in Mekong Delta. In a subsequent citation for his Bronze Star Medal for heroism, his commanding officer summarized his actions in this way: "When his unit suddenly came under intense fire, PFC Way, without regard for his personal safety, and fully aware of the peril of the situation, gallantly charged across the open terrain, directing a devastating volume of firepower on the insurgents. Although seriously wounded in the ensuing action, Private Way heroically continued to fight until he succumbed to his wounds. His 23rd birthday was only 5 days earlier. On October 25th, 1967, a fellow soldier sent a letter to Mom and Dad. He said all of Tom's new friends in Vietnam were shocked to learn of his death. He said, "We miss him now and still think of him often. Tommy is the nicest person I've ever met, and I'm sure all the rest of the guys will say the same." How quickly they become brothers in time of war. In closing, I am reminded of this quote: "A soldier is never forgotten until no one utters his or her name." 49 years have passed since our brother died serving his country. His name continues to be mentioned, and it is etched in marble at the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, in steel at the Greater Rochester Vietnam Memorial, and in bronze on the campus of St. John Fisher College. He is remembered with love by family and by friends like Bob Moline, Jerry Vasile, Dick Updaw, Tom Trevette, and Bob Herman. We are all better people for having had Tom in our lives. A few months ago, I received a letter from a childhood classmate of mine who was also a friend of Tom. He was in Tom's sister unit in Vietnam and probably only 100 yards down the road from where Tom was located. He wrote, and I quote, "Thomas Way got an early promotion when on October 9th, 1967, he stood before his Creator, whom I believe gave him a resounding, 'Welcome home, Tom.' There will be no more pain, no more sorrow, and no more tears. And I'm sure Tom would be very honored and thankful for your remembrance of him in this way," end quote. Thank you, McQuaid, for making Tom a Knight of the Round Table. In the Jesuit tradition, he was a man for others.